Hi everyone, welcome back to the Pot Smokers Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Pot Smokers Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion, where I get my name and authority. It comes from the Ketuvim, or Old Testament of the Christian Bible. I used the King James Version in order to put together the testimony of the prophets and write it into the book of Zion. I call it the book of Zion because its main storyline is the events of 2020 and how a female drug user steps forward to champion the cause of the drug using population who has been under an oppressive war on drugs for about 100 years. And this text is how God plans to end the war on drugs by allowing me, his chosen champion, to champion the cause of drug users, to end the suffering, and to do it the same way Moses freed the Hebrews from the Assyrians who had taken over Egypt. Now, my act of championship is just beginning. I have yet to reach the stage where I get to make my arguments in front of the world. That's not, it's like I'm just building up to this because right now, Donald Trump is having his final moment. I do believe. Because I do not believe that enough Americans are that base and low to keep him in office. Now, in terms of the prophecy, it doesn't matter if he wins or loses. For America's sake, I hope that he loses, because it will be better for America. Now, nothing can stop the destruction that is coming, because it's foretold in the prophecy. It is this great destruction that gives me the platform in the aftermath to make right that which is wrong and to bring God back to earth. God, of course, being great. Now we're going to do this with the camp out. The camp out is actually a strike because I'm going to make a prediction. Prophets do that, That's our job. I'm going to predict first that Trump is going to lose. Second, that all of his minions, I call them, his Proud Boys, white supremacists, QAnon believers, are all going to be up in arms. And when I mean up in arms, I mean they tote guns, you know that, right? So I'm going to predict that this is going to be a bloody, attempted coup. Because Trump is going to claim that, well, he's already been claiming that it's a rigged election. Yes, it's rigged against him for one reason. Because he is the basis of men, and only base people will actually say they want him in power. Scum rises to the surface. Everybody who has a spark of decency in them is going to be voting for Biden. And they've been doing it in overwhelming numbers already. And I believe that on election day, there are going to be there are going to be so many people voting for Biden, standing in those lines, that very few of Trump's supporters are actually going to make it to the polls to cast their votes, because they're all waiting for election day. And I believe the blacks and the Hispanics have said, hey, look, if we wait until election day and we go early, we can kill this vote. We can kill the Republican Party. And I believe the Republican Party is dying because of Trump. I believe the Senate is going to be changing majority so that we will have a Democratic House, a Democratic Senate, and a Democratic president, but only after a bloody coup. Now, what that's going to do is that's going to kill off all of the worst humanity. Now, add to that COVID-19 that has spread like wildfire because of Trump and his lack of coordination. And because there is no mechanism in the American government to protect us from a pandemic. It is a government, it is a flaw of the democratic system that individual freedom is so important in this country that people are being allowed to commit murder in the name of independence. Every person who does not wear a mask is a murderer. It's involuntary manslaughter. If you don't wear a mask, you are guilty of involuntary manslaughter because you do not know that you do not have the virus and you do not know that you're not giving it to the people that you come into contact with. That's why it's involuntary. Manslaughter is because every person who gets sick and dies as a result of your not wearing a mask does so directly as a result of your negligence. So, if you're not wearing a mask, you are guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Look up what the charge carries. Because if I were in charge, each and every one of you would get that. And COVID would go away. But instead, all you people who are going to Trump's rallies, going to restaurants, going to stores, congregating without masks, going to parties, you're killing people. And the death rate is going to rise exponentially. If you don't know what the word means, look it up. On top of Trump and COVID-19, there's still going to be the flu. Flu, car wrecks, plane crashes, riots in the streets, heart attacks, diabetes, obesity, a million different ways to die this winter. Come spring, we will still have a pandemic on our hands. And we will find that the government, even though it's trying to do what's necessary, it will be blocked by the stupid people that remain, by the mechanisms of government that don't provide for such a true emergency. And at that time, enough of you people will have heard about me. Because the darker this winter gets, the more people will hear about me. So, by next spring, I'm hoping enough people will have heard about me that they will want to go camping. Because my camp out is a strike against government's inefficiency. It's a strike against corporate takeover of America. It's a strike against police brutality in association with racism and the war on drugs. It is a quarantine. It is the people of America saying it's fucking enough. If you people want to go out into the business world and act like nothing is happening and kill each other with COVID, fine, go ahead. But there's a whole bunch of Americans that want to be quarantined properly. They want to live in a place where COVID does not exist. And the only way to do that is to put on a mask, quarantine, test, contact trace. Take the deep steps. Take the proper measures. Put the people in charge of the pandemic who know what the pandemic is about. In other words, right now, the only person in America qualified to be in the White House is Dr. Fauci, because he's the only one qualified to take care of the pandemic, and the pandemic is the most important issue of the day. So, Dr. Fauci, if you ever hear about me, I'm planning a camp out quarantine out in the panhandle of Nebraska where the sand meets the land. I'm planning on quarantining family units within parameters, building walls around them with dirt. We're going to Minecraft it. Anyway, we're going to quarantine every family group. It's socially distanced. Everybody coming outside of their quarantine zone will be required to wear a mask. The only people who will be outside of those zones during the first 14 days, while we're testing everybody, is the people who are going to be in hazmat suits distributing supplies. It's going to be a full-blown, full-frontal assault on COVID-19. We are going to test everybody day after day after day. And only when Dr. Fauci or whatever expert we manage to get to help us decides that it's good, that we can come out of our quarantine, that we're safe, that COVID no longer has a hold on us, then we will just refuse to leave our camp until everybody else in America follows suit. Or ends up dead. Because that's your choice. So, as you watch people die all winter, start getting everything ready to go camping. Take everything you have with you when you go. Everything you need to get through a growing season. And get seeds. Reproducing seeds only. Okay? Because what we're going to do is we're going to quarantine our families in the open air in tents. We're going to build shelters underneath for tornadoes and storms and for supplies. But we're going to build a garden. The garden is going to supersaturate us with oxygen. It's going to kill the virus. May the Grey watch over you, guide you, protect you, and keep you from all harm. And may they teach you right from wrong, and may you be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light, the unicorn way. Stay happy and high, my friends. Know that I love you. You are awesome. You just don't know it yet. Okay? Find your joy and pursue it. That will teach you how awesome you are. Know that I love each and every one of you. Later now. I'll never say goodbye.